Hello guys and welcome back to Planet 40K, the Necrons channel. Now in today's video, something a little bit different again. We're going to be talking about my top 5 leader combos for 10th edition Necrons. So as you probably know by now, with the new Necrons index, you are allowed a noble, and then in that same attached unit or bodyguard unit, whatever you want to call it, you can also attach a Cryptek. So that makes for some quite nasty little synergies, nasty little combinations that you could do. So we're going to run down my top 5, and you probably noticed in the background I finally got my Leviathan box set. It was stuck in the post for a few days. Haven't actually opened it yet, but I'll be cracking into that tonight I suppose. But let's get into today's video. So let's get on to number 5, and we're starting off with the Necron Technomancer with the Necron Overlord as a combination. Now let's talk about the Technomancer to begin. Why are we bringing the Technomancer? What does he bring to the unit? First of all, rights of reanimation. So the entire unit, including all the characters involved in the unit, are going to get a Feel No Pain 5+ ability. Pretty nice. That could work on either the Lich Guard, the Immortals, as well as the Warriors. It's going to work on all of them pretty well. His second ability, which is called Technomancer, nice and straightforward. Units within 3 inches are going to be able to regain D3 loss wounds. Now, of course, if he's in one of those units, it's not going to work on Warriors or Immortals because they can't be healed, because they've only got 1 wound apiece. But Lich Guard, however, do have 2 wounds apiece. So if you are within that unit, that will work just fine. Or any other unit within 3 inches. It could be a Canoptic Reanimator. It could be anything, right? But we're just specifically talking about the attached and bodyguard units for these characters. Now the Overlord, who's the second part of this combination, has the Resurrection Orb. So you can be triggering reanimation protocols in your opponent's command phase, which is pretty key because that comes after, well, the fight phase, I suppose. Your fight phase, you might lose some models, so therefore you're going to get some models back, and then that also counts towards objective control and things like that, so it is quite crucial. And of course mine will be done as well, so that you can use a stratagem for free on that unit, even if you've already done so with a different unit in that phase. So that one's pretty good. Now as a combination, I'm going to go back to the Lich Guard again for a moment. This is the unit I would use this combination on. The Lich Guard, and ideally the Lich Guard with the Swords and Shields, because they've got a 4+ invulnerable save, they've got the 5+ Feel No Pain save, the Technomancer is able to heal them as we mentioned with the Technomancer ability, and the Resurrection Orb is going to work quite nicely. It's going to be one of those extremely resilient units that your opponent is going to really pull their hair out when trying to remove it. So that is my number 5 of this video. Number 4, the deadly duo of Buzz Lightyear and his dabbing friend, otherwise known as Varguard, Obyron and Nemesor Zahndrekh. Now Nemesor Zahndrekh and his bodyguard, well, let's talk about the bodyguard first. Let's talk about Varguard Obyron. He's got the Varguard's duty, so the character models within that unit will have the 4+ Feel No Pain save, so just the characters this time. This doesn't count towards the actual unit itself. It's not going to be the Warriors or the Lich Guard or the Immortals, it's purely the characters here. But that's pretty good because it keeps them up and running, and especially if you've got the Epic Challenge stratagem that's been, if you're a target of that, and you've got a Bloodthirster literally targeting you out with that Epic Challenge stratagem, you're in trouble, right? So at least having a Feel No Pain save of a 4+, which is pretty high, is decent. He's also got the Ghostwalk Mantle, which gives your units, the entire unit, the Fight First ability. Pretty nice. Again, I'm thinking about Lich Guards here because Necron Warriors and Necron Immortals don't really want to be in a fight. So Lich Guard are the ideal target unit for that. And as for Nemesor Zahndrekh, he's got the Transient Madness. So it is a little bit random, it is a bit mad. But on you roll a d6 in your command phase. On a 1 and a 2 you get Sustained Hits 1, 3 and a 4 you get Lethal Hits, and a 5 and a 6 you get Devastating Wounds. Now with the War Scythes, if you were to take the War Scythes with the Lich Guard, you've already got Devastating Wounds, so you don't want to roll a 5 or a 6 with them. With the Gorse weapons, if you're taking the Immortals with the Gorse Blasters or the Warriors with any of the Gorse weapons, they've already got the Lethal Hits, so you don't want to be getting a 3 and a 4. And of course, if you're taking any of the Tesla options, which is only one in fact, the Tesla Carbines with the Immortals, you don't want to be getting a 1 or a 2 because that's got Sustained Hits 2 anyway. So having Sustained Hits 1 is irrelevant. So pretty much in all those situations, you've got a 2 out of 3 chance of getting something that you actually want, unless you're taking the Swords and Shields again. Then all 3 are pretty good because the Swords and Shields don't have any of those. So yeah, you're being able to fight first. Characters get the 4+ Feel No Pain save. And you're getting this additional weapon characteristic. Could be Lich Guard, but it could be anything really. But I quite like that little duo Now you can't attach a Cryptek to this unit. They've actually, is it in the FAQs or was it the comments, the rules commentary, they added it in there. You can't have more than 2 additional characters, or 2 characters within a bodyguard unit. They did cap it, so it is only those 2 and no more. That's my number, what was that, number 4. We are now on number 3. This one I have gone with one of the named characters this time, and I've gone with Imotekh the Stormlord, and I paired him alongside one of the Crypteks, which is the Chronomancer, and here is why. So, Grand Strategist, at the start of the command phase you're getting a CP, which is brilliant because this edition Necrons love the CP because the stratagems are amazing. If you haven't checked out the stratagem yet, I would highly suggest going into those and having a good look and make absolute max use of them, they're very good. Now the Chronomancer, he's giving the unit a -1 to hit if they are targeted at range, and also it gives them a little bit of movement in the shooting phase after your unit has shot. If they're not within engagement range, they can make a normal move up to 5 inches, so you can literally shoot, duck into cover, duck out of sight, duck out of, anything really, you can move. Now the reason why I have paired Imotekh the Stormlord and a Chronomancer together is because you don't want Imotekh the Stormlord to die. He's got that CP, he's farming CP every single turn, so you're going to get up to 5 CP if he does stay alive for the entire game. Now that's probably a little bit too generous, maybe turn 3, turn 4, he probably does go. So you want to protect this unit in particular as best as you can. So what better than a -1 to hit them? I think that's a pretty decent one. I mean, he's already got an invuln save, so you don't need Orikan the Diviner perhaps. So yeah, that's the reasoning for that pairing, I suppose. On to number 2, speaking of Orikan the Diviner, I've got Orikan the Diviner as well as a Necron Lord. Just a standard Necron Lord, nice and cheap, nice and cheerful. And this is the reason for this pairing. So, first of all, Master Chronomancer gives the entire unit a 4+ invulnerable save. That is huge. That's going to be good for all 3 of the options. Again, Lich Guard, Immortals, Warriors. Now with the Lich Guard, only use this with the War Scythes. Do not take the Swords and Shields of Orikan the Diviner because they've already got an invuln save with their shields. So why give them an invuln save with Orikan the Diviner? Complete waste, right? So make sure you're taking the War Scythes, which are the Strength 8 weapons with damage 2, and then give them the invuln save from Orikan. That's the first part, that's half of this piece of synergy. The second one is the Necron Lord. Again, he's got the Resurrection Orb, very similar to a Necron Overlord. He's also got the Lord's Will, which is actually very good. It's actually very good because, as I mentioned earlier in this video, the stratagems are key for Necrons this edition. And even if your unit is battle shocked, you can still use the stratagems on the unit, which I think is really good. Now, the reason for this combination is you could have a Necron Overlord. But why have a Necron Overlord? He's got an invuln save of a 4+, yes. But Orikan provides the invuln save to the Necron Lord. He's a part of the unit. So you're effectively giving a character an invuln save as well. Yes, you do lose out on that, using a stratagem for free and all that jazz. Being able to use stratagems while battle shocked, I think is so huge. I mean, using the Protocol of Undying Legions, and that's huge. I mean, you're literally popping everything back if you've got the Canoptic Reanimator or the Ghost Arcs and all that. You know the synergies by now, guys. You've also got the Vengeful Stars, you've got Overwatch, so you definitely want to be able to use your stratagems, and having a 4+ invulnerable save for the entire unit, I like it. That was my number 2. On to my most favourable combination so far that I've played. We've got a Necron Overlord, so he has come back, making a second appearance this video. Necron Overlord as well as the Plasmancer. Now this one is my preferred option. Now you don't need multiple units of this exact combination because that Overlord ability with a stratagem only really happens once. So I'm kind of repeating myself slightly. You can use the Resurrection Orb in your opponent's command phase, pretty cool, and mine will be done to be able to use the stratagem for free even if you've already used it that phase on another unit, pretty cool as well. Now the Plasmancer, what does he bring to the table? Now one of his abilities, Living Lightning, I don't really care too much about it. It throws out mortal wounds within 18 inches. In fact, in my last game I completely forgot to use that. It's not about that at all. For me, it's about the Harbinger of Destruction. This allows you to have critical hits on a 5+ instead of a 6+. Now bearing in mind, lethal hits, for example, with your Necron Warriors, any hits of a 6 will automatically wound. Your opponent gets to make a save, of course, but you don't have to roll to wound, they auto wound. If you've got a Plasmancer in the unit, it's now a 5+. And when you've got that many shots, what I like to do is I like to use the Gorse Flayers. I don't even bother with the Gorse Reapers, I use the Flayers. I get 24-inch range. The strength doesn't matter because I'm fishing for 5+s anyway to hit. So the toughness doesn't matter either. It could be toughness 20 million, I don't care. If I'm automatically wounding you, doesn't matter, right? Now why I like this combination is, well, this is the most offensive. This is what I would class as my most offensive combination, because they're going to be going up front and centre shooting, you know, looking for 5+ as mentioned, but we also want to be using as many stratagems as possible in this unit. Again, Protocol Vengeful Stars, which is a key stratagem, by the way, key stratagem. As soon as you lose anything, done. Overwatch, just a simple stratagem. Overwatch, if you're fishing for, well, you'd be fishing for 6s now, because obviously Overwatch is different, but those 6s are still lethal hits, so they still auto wound. Undying Legions, again, if you've got your Reanimators and your Orbs and your Ghost Darks and all that stuff. So stratagems are key, but this is your most forward-thinking unit with your Necron Warriors in particular. And it doesn't even have to be Warriors, it could be Necron Immortals, and it doesn't even have to be Gauss. I always get that wrong. It doesn't even have to be those weapons, it could be the Tesla Carbines. Remember, if you get a critical hit with a Tesla weapon, you get 2 additional hits. Turn that to a 5+ rather than a 6+ because of the Plasmancer. That's a lot of hits. So yeah, that's my favourite synergy, guys. But you'll have to let me know yours down in the comments below. Have I missed any? Also, let me know now in the comments below. But guys, that is it from me today. Make sure you are subscribed if you are new around here. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next one.